welcome to Chair Yoga with the Prescott Library. Today we are going to use yoga straps. So this looks like a giant belt. Use a belt, use a tie. We're just going to do some extra stretching with this and kind of experiment so you could use a few different things at home. So find yourself in a comfortable spot. Kind of center yourself on your chair, bring your shoulders just back and down, opening up your chest. Give yourself a giant smile. Drop your head down, roll your shoulders, bring your arms up, and bring you down, and arms out to the side, and just relaxing down. And arms back. And coming forward, just gently opening up your back. And coming forward. And forward again. With your fingers stretching towards me. Engage your tummy as you're pressing back. And coming up. And all the way up, stretch. Just reach your shoulders really long. And just dropping them down. Just coming into a wider leg. First, just stretching in. A little more of a goddess twist. Opening up your low back. Just find those movements that feel really cozy in your body. Make those movements a little bit longer, so I'm doing a little bit of a stretch as well as a nice twist with my low back. And gently coming back and pressing back, letting your head relax. And coming forward, stretching your chest forward, smiling. And pressing back. And coming forward. Just bring your arms wherever it's comfortable. If you want to stretch them back. And forward. Smiling as you do it. And make your arms a little bit larger if you'd like. Really focusing as we drop back. Really focusing in on your tummy. And dropping down. And coming up. And just relaxing your body down. Just working your feet back together. Dropping your head over towards your right. Just keeping everything straight, really straight upright. Feel a stretch from down the side of your neck into your shoulders. And coming up. And over. You might just feel everything in the beginning right in the neck. It's always the easiest spot to find it. I've been moving and doing a little bit of extra stuff today. So I actually feel like my neck is pretty loose. I'm actually feeling more of a stretch down into my shoulders on the back side. The horses are up close to the house today, so the dog is quite excited that they're moving around. So probably wishing he could be outside hanging around with the horses and visiting. I don't know if that's in anyone's best interest. Nice big breath in and coming up and dropping in. Letting your left arm just drop down. Trying to get a you somewhere, I think. And just dropping your chin towards your shoulder. And coming up. And just bring your body back upright. Dropping your head towards the left. Just enjoy that deep stretch. And letting your right arm relax down. And just take those big breaths as you need it. I always think when I yawn during some of these sessions, it's more of a release of the body, not out of boredom by any means, right? Just drop your chin a little bit down. Nice big breath. Really focus in on the breath coming into your tummy and coming back upright. Reaching all the way up, bring your shoulders up and dropping them down. And reaching up and back down. And just bring your heels up and down. So as you reach your arms up, bring your heels up and dropping down. Nice big breath, stretching your chest forward again. And just bring your arms around. Open up your shoulders. And a gentle, I would say a moderate cat-cow. And dropping in. A few more. And just bring your head back up. Coming back into our wider legs, gentle circles, opening up your hips. So you might feel some good stretches in, say, the back of the hips into your glutes. You're also getting a little bit of exterior on your legs, as well as tummy work if you are dropping back in and engage your tummy. And just rolling back in, nice long stretch. Just make those movements feel kind of you. Stretching in, open your shoulders up. Nice big breath and rotate towards your left this time, opening up your body. Do you feel some deeper stretches now that we've done this a little bit more? I hope so. Nice gentle stretches for the back. Just find those gentle movements. And nice big breath all the way up. And a gentle swan dive down, hands to your knees, stretching your head towards me. And coming all the way up. And dropping in. And all the way up. Swan dive a little bit deeper if your body's ready. Pick flowers and coming up. It's winter, so probably not flowers, might be more snowballs, right? Pick up your snowball, bring it up, and swan dive down, pick up the snow, and coming up. And as you come up, really notice how your abs engage. Engaging your tummy, and then hold it. Hold it, snowball or beach ball. It's totally up to you. I'm really looking outside and it looks pretty outside and it's not too cold today. Reaching up and dropping forward. And reaching forward and putting the snow back down. And all the way up. And reaching towards me. Drop your shoulders in, really making sure that tummy's engaged. And set the snow down. Reaching up. Grabbing on, holding, stretching towards me. And doing some small rotations, just opening your shoulders. You might even feel this down into your triceps, that back part of your arm. And if you're really working your core, you should do pretty good with keeping your back supported. If you let your tummy go, you'll notice that your back's hurting. And we don't want that. We want to have good support, just reaching back and forth, reaching towards me, and coming back. And reaching towards me, and back. And doing some gentle twists. You might notice with your arms up here that you're feeling a stretch, probably like in the center part of your body. It's kind of the overall goal. You're basically twisting from your belly button, but making these movements a little bit smaller. Probably notice a little bit more that it's a deeper upper body twist. Just a few more. And back towards center. And doing a gentle push and a pull back. Pushing and back. We're really working our shoulders and arms today. Nice press and drop your fingers down and up. So if you notice, just with this small action that your shoulders are feeling it, modify. You don't have to go all the way out. If you want to do every other out and drop, great. Go out and down and forward. Remember, go at your own pace. I'm picking up the pace just a little bit. And back towards center. You probably felt it maybe in the front side of your arm. We're using a lot of our deltoid for these movements here. So if you notice they are a little bit sore, we are building muscle. And we're probably using muscles that don't get the same amount of use all the time. These are hand movements that you can really easily add a hand weight to if you want to. But really, if you use control, you don't always have to add a hand weight. And then a few back. Holding. Nice big breath. Dropping your hands down. Taking your left arm up and over, gazing up at your left hand. And switch sides. switch sides. Gazing up at your hand if it's comfortable, dropping your shoulder down. You can gaze up into a mirror, smiling at self-love today, right? And switch sides. And dropping down. Relax, going in a little bit deeper, but yet keeping your body. So if you notice, if I lean over too far, it doesn't give me what I'm really looking for. I'm kind of pulling my glutes off of the floor. I'm doing a nice stretch over, real long, shoulder back. And switch sides. Stretching out of your side. Reaching your hands up and dropping all the way forward, relaxing your body, a nice forward fold. Bring your hands to your knees and pressing up. Crossing your left leg over. Nice big breath and taking a twist. Press your thumbs into your sternum and give it a nice deep stretch. And back towards center and twist. I notice that if I press into my sternum and twist, I get a deeper twist versus just my hands twisting all the way around. Nice big breath, reaching up and dropping forward. And coming all the way up. And twist. Towards center and twist. And back towards center and reaching forward. This time, instead of kind of collapsing forward, see if you can reach your upper body forward towards me. Nice stretch. By doing this, you should actually feel it more into the tailbone. Reaching into your glutes. And coming up. Drop your shoulders down, hands to heart center and twist. And back towards center. And over towards your right, nice long stretch. And by holding these stretches, you should probably feel, so you should, but you'll notice it more in your hips and the outside of your legs. Nice big breath, reaching up and forward fold again. Switch legs, nice big breath, and just forward fold. Nice big breath, reaching all the way up. And drop your hands down. And twisting towards your right. towards center and over towards your left. And back towards center, reaching up. And hands back to heart center and twist. Back towards center and over towards your left. Nice big breath. And dropping forward. And coming up. And hands back to heart center and twist. And back and twist. And back towards center and reaching up. And just a nice forward fold, stretching your head towards me. And coming up, nice big breath. Take your yoga straps out. So again, mine it's got that little double dealie on here, so it looks like a giant belt. Now sometimes I know getting on the floor is a little bit tricky, so you can still do a nice hamstring stretch, opening up with a nice stretch forward. So this you can even do this without a yoga strap if you don't have one, so there's certainly no reason to run out and go buy one. But experiment and see what you need for a deeper stretch. So you're stretching into the hamstrings. You should be getting a good stretch on the interior thighs too. And coming up. Reaching forward. So I'm feeling stretches on both legs. They're doing two different types of work. And coming up. And a gentle stretch over. Stretching over. And coming up. And stretch over. And notice how you're stretching, because you can do a stretch forward towards your foot, or your head is dropped over, your sternum is dropped over, or do a side twist. So find kind of the rotation, so you can really experiment with that on your own, because I did a little bit of both and I need a little bit of both. Switching towards your left foot, doing the same thing in a nice stretch forward, and you might want to sit maybe possibly on the corner of your chair so you can get in a little bit deeper. And coming up. Again, experiment with your arm if you need a deeper stretch. But if you notice, I'm kind of dropping my hand a little bit on my knee for support, but don't press into your kneecap. This stretch actually feels better for my hamstring. Getting a little bit deeper in. And over. Doing a rotation and coming up. And just coming back center, So you might have felt some stretches in some spots we haven't worked yet today. We've done a lot of basic stretches, I would say. Now bringing your strap to your foot and bring your foot up. So this offers kind of some really good stuff. Keeping your leg forward, you'll feel like hamstring calf. You can lift a little bit higher if you have the space and the need, right? You're going to wrap it around your foot and doing a nice opener. Opens up your interior thighs. Nice big breath back towards center and resting down. I do like, so if you have a couple of ties, using a couple of ties, even tying them together so you have a little bit of extra stuff to work with. I like this or a belt because I can wrap it around my hand a little bit better, or just something small versus a hand towel, which you can use the hand towel, but it feels a little bit too bulky in my hands. Reaching your leg out, sitting up real tall, and reaching back, you can lift your leg up, opening, and resting down. So you probably felt, depending on your legs, hamstrings, calves, a little bit of the outside thigh. And we'll do it again. See what you got for this one, moving in a little bit deeper. And focus in on really good posture, opening up. Using your tummy will get a lot of work. So I'm actually feeling a lot of stretch in the outside of my leg, the IT band, and also my anterior thigh. I think those are some trickier spots to stretch. And you can switch to opposite hand and doing a little stretch over. I'm definitely tighter on the outside of my thighs, so I don't have a lot of rotation as I do open, and maybe you feel the same. So I'm adding a little twist, just it feels better for me to have that pull both ways. Resting down, switch sides, and dropping down. So nice long stretch. And if you notice you get a little bit crampy, that's the hip flexor. So you got a couple things. That's just tight on you. It's very possible. We haven't done a lot of hip stuff yet today. Gently opening. Nice long stretch. Or very possible just not enough water. And resting down. Again, press that, drop that in. Widen your feet. You can go a little bit wider. And now if you're trying this one, make sure your chair is not going to slip out from underneath you. That's where it's handy to have a couple of yoga mats. But just gently dropping forward. Nice deep stretch. Toes are pointed towards the sky. You probably can't see that. Dropping down. And coming up. It's like we're doing a swan dive. I'm just keeping my hands on my waist so it feels a little bit more supportive, but just make sure you don't put your hands on your kneecaps. You can go a little bit lower or all the way lower. So my hands are just resting on my ankles. Stretches into the low back again. Now work your way, hands back up towards the thighs, and walk your way back in. Now you can use your chair in a couple different ways. I'm actually going to use it in the same position, and I'll show you kind of a few options. So first we're going to do a hip flexor opener, just dropping down one knee You can stay in a chair and be supported, but we're actually just doing a nice lunge forward. So if you feel tight in that hip flexor, it just might feel like a real tight rubber band. That's about what it is. And coming up. I think for me, lunges feel a little bit more comfortable off of a chair, but as you know, we experiment with this a lot in the chair. So we're just going to come up and down a few times, deepen the stretch if it's comfortable. And this time, taking your supporting foot, which is your right one, heel up, okay? And doing a nice stretch forward, opening up that hamstring. Still keeping your hands supported with your left. And coming up. And a nice opener. And reaching your hands forward. So you can reach towards me, nice long stretch. You can go in deeper. So I'm just supporting my hand mid-thigh. A nice big breath. And dropping in. So having your knee straight opens up your hamstrings. If you keep your foot down, just doing a nice deep hip flexor opener. Always experiment. If you're thinking one is just not the best, own what your body needs. So you can do a few different rotations, toes up on the right foot, and you can either stay up, pressing your hips forward, or doing a deeper drop in, opening up your hip flexor. Once more, coming back. And if this is too easy, far be it for me, right? Dropping your hands down really helps actually get all the way into the calf, and you can get in a little bit deeper. Experiment, obviously work your way into whatever is the biggest challenge that you're needing. And dropping back, and coming forward again. And from here, when you're ready, coming up, work your way to a standing position. Nice big stretch. And just dropping down. Switch sides, or again, remember, experiment on the side of the chair. So coming forward, right leg back. So of course, if you're sitting on a chair, you're going to be doing a little bit more of an opposition. Just gently coming forward. And you might want your knee on that yoga mat if you've got one. Unless you happen to have one of those great floors that the whole floor is this. And dropping in, but I'm going to go if not everybody has one of those in their living room. They make yoga mats that are giant square ones, but I would imagine not everybody has one of those either. Just relaxing. Dropping in, pressing your chest forward, pressing your hips forward a little bit deeper. And try to make sure that your knee does not go over your toes like too deep of a stretch. Just really use some self-control. If you need to go deeper, move your toes forward, stretching in. And now when you're ready, you can either stay with that stretch, tip your toes up, left foot, just dropping in, trying to make sure you stay very straight. And coming up. And dropping forward. And coming up. And reaching your head forward. In. Now this time I'm dropping my toes down, coming all the way up. And dropping forward. rotation. And if you need deeper, remember you can drop in. Never any pressure to go any deeper than it's comfortable. And gently coming back. Nice stretch, keeping your toes towards the sky, working your hands up. Just slowly coming up. Nice big breath, stretching all the way up. And drop your hands to heart center. We will do a little bit of a stretch that we do often, I would say. And just bring your feet to a nice wide stance so they're wider than your hips. My heels are probably maybe 3 inches, 2 to 3 inches either side. We're just going to do a gentle drop down in. And try to focus in, and try is just kind of the basics, but don't let your feet go, your knees go forward. Have it be an up and down with the hips. So working in. And this time doing a rotation, pressing your tailbone back and coming up. So you can use the chair for support, engaging your tummy, and coming up. Working your way in, we're doing some other hip stretches that we don't do when we're seated. This is an easy one to do at the computer, or if you've been watching a movie for a really, really, really long time. And dropping in. This time rotating your heels in and doing a deep squat. Now remember, if your deep squat, that's not where it's at, is all the way down. Go a little bit wider into your squat and just drop down. So going into a deep squat, no matter what level you're at, opens up your interior thighs. And pressing up. Kind of experiment again. If you're noticing that that's too much, use your support of your chair. So this is still going to keep it going. Keep your tummy engaged. Dropping in. I just notice if I only drop a little bit, my knees really like a wider step. So if you're doing this a few times, your legs are probably getting warm. That's the goal, right? Dropping in. Dropping in. You can come down, using your thighs. So experiment a lot of different things. You'll notice that your tummy's working too. Dropping in, so kind of keep your chair for support. Nice big breath. So whichever spot you got, your favorite one, hold into it nice and tight. Keeping your chair handy for pressing up. Walking your toes in. Little bit of a downward dog, so stepping away. Into a plank. And pressing back. And forward. Big breath. Dropping your head down, relaxing. This was a great way to modify some of those downward dogs. Engage your tummy as you come up. Step back a little bit further. pressing back in. Taking your right foot in, opening up the left, and a nice side stretch. And coming in, and reaching up. I think side stretch is so amazing. Kind of modifying our side plank also. I think a side plank is as challenging as a full plank. We're just using our core a little bit differently. And coming back. Now if you want to rotate your chair, you can. We're going to hang out in a full plank. Switch sides and reaching up. And dropping down. Reaching up again. And dropping in. Nice long hold. And coming back. Holding in. Walk your feet up and all the way back up. Coming back with your chair in the center if you moved it. Nice big breath. Left leg up. And a nice stretch. Hopefully you notice that outside hip and thigh are really loosey-goosey. It's a very official term, loosey-goosey. And coming up. And reaching your head forward. Really try to keep your hips pretty pressed in. And coming up. If that's not a deep enough of a stretch, you know, pull your arms out, reach towards me. Coming up. And a gentle twist. Towards center and twist. Nice big breath. And coming up. Reaching up real tall and dropping in. Might even feel a stretch all the way down to your knees. Kind of depends on how tight different muscles are. Or you just might notice that your knee stretches differently because you're twisting it sideways. And coming up. And stretch forward. And coming up. Stretch towards me, nice long stretch. Modifying your chair pose. And coming up and twist. Towards center. Nice big breath, opening your body, a nice deep stretch. All the way up. And swan dive down. Nice big breath, reaching all the way up. Thank you for joining us today. Namaste.